Hello, everyone. You are very welcome to join us. This is another edition of the musical experience that we call Getting to Know. You can see the little logo in the corner. We're part of Independent Venue Week, and we're here in association with the Oh Yeah Music Centre, which is one of the fittingest music centres in Northern Ireland, and courtesy of themselves then we've had a good, I think, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years of getting to know, possibly longer. But last year we had some wonderful meetings in tough times, and doubtless that will continue into 2021. But getting to know is a beautiful experience. It's a chance to get to know some of our greatest songwriters a little bit better. It's delivered to you also then in association with PRS for Music. And my name is Stuart Bailey. I'm the editor of Dig With It magazine, and I'm happy to steer a little bit of this conversation. New Pagans, who won an award, we're going to talk about that in a minute, last November. It's Lindsay and Cahir and Claire and Connor and Alan. There's an album coming around the corner, which we'll also be delighted to talk about. So in the background, we have a fella called D, who his face may appear now and again. So expect a handsome bearded chap to appear occasionally. And hopefully now D will be able to flick some kind of a switch. And we're going to be joined by Lindsay and Cara. There you go. How are you?
Hi. We're good. Surviving.
Great, lovely to have you here, and lovely to share the next 45 minutes or so talking about the world that is New Pagans. Never boring, always an education.
Always
doubtless that will be. We're not going to talk too much before we go to the first video, but just to set the scene. How are you doing? What do you do? What's occupying yourselves these days?
Survival, just I think at the minute, isn't it? No, yeah. We actually went back into rehearsals last week, and we're very, very rusty. So that's going to be the priority to get to make sure that we can stand up to that Best Live Act award.
Well, yeah, you prompted me very nicely. So the Northern Ireland Music Prize, which was early November, was it the 5th? I can't remember. And it was delivered. It was a sort of a live streaming experience this year rather than the big Ulster Hall moment that we know and love in previous years. But album of the year went to Kit Philippa, which is great. And I'm trying to remember some of the other people who won awards. But New Pagans, they got Best Live Act, and that must have been bittersweet.
Yeah, I guess we did fit in quite a few live shows between November and the November. So we'd managed to squeeze in our first UK tour, so that was good. So we felt that it was okay to win it. But we missed playing live so much this year. It's been really
yeah.
Cool,
you earned your award. It wasn't like you had millions of rabid fans just voted for you for the sake of it. There were actually people who saw you out there in the wild. So the first, we're going to watch a series of video clips, and some of them are music videos, some of them are live experiences. And the first one then is Charlie Has the Face of a Saint, and that was live at Voodoo. Live to probably a fairly empty Voodoo because it was pandemic Voodoo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice to just have something to work towards. When we were approached to do it, we were like, what, 2 songs? Yes, anything. We'll do half a song, whatever you want. So it was nice to sort of get under the rehearsal room and sort of go through a couple of songs and get on stage and play. Even though we were only playing it like a camera crew and Andy, the sound engineer, it was nice to do that. We enjoyed ourselves. So
okay, well, whenever you're ready, then D, if we can watch this beautiful live at Voodoo, Charlie Has the Face of a Saint. There's the man himself. How are you?
Looking well, D. Looking well. Yeah.
for me. I couldn't even try to love you. Charlie has struggled since school. He can't fit in, there's just no room. He's stuck with his parents until 42. They have desperate figures, don't they? I'm yours if I want to disappear. So easy to hurt when you're down on your knees, crawling about in the dirt for me. I couldn't even try to love you. I'm yours if I want to disappear. So easy to have when you're down on your knees, crawling about in the dirt for me. I couldn't even hope to love you. I couldn't even try to love you. Sunflowers incentives, let's try and mend this. Sunflowers incentives, I'm giving my heart, I'm doing my part. Sunflowers incentives, let's try and mend this. Sunflowers incentives, I'm giving my heart, I'm doing my part, I'm doing my part. Sunflowers incentives.
Terribly, desperately homesick for Voodoo watching that. And Voodoo would be very much one of the backbones of the Northern Ireland gig scene. And you just watch New Pagans on stage there. And that stage, as we all well know, that there've been a lot of work put into that venue about a year and a half ago, getting it ready for gigs, and all of a sudden that pleasure was withheld. It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, we played a couple of shows in there. We supported McCluskey in there and stuff, and you know they've got a great system in there. It's fantastic. It's nice and loud. It had you right in the gut when you're standing in the crowd. You know what I mean? It's and they extended the stage, and the pandemic arrived and had different plans for us all. You know, so
yes. So giving out love on Independent Week for Kieran, because they do really have put the effort in, and there's a kind of an aroma about gigs, about those kind of venues, which I love. It's got
that's a good choice of words there, an aroma.
it's got the scent of rock and roll, you know. And
the scent of something, but
and I totally miss it. You know, much as I might try and recreate that at home, but it's never going to be.
No, I mean, not unless you pee all over your sofa. I mean, I don't think it's.
And you know, myself and Terry Hooley used to DJ on a Thursday night at Voodoo downstairs, and it literally was the passing trade. It was just, you know, there is an alternative world who don't necessarily fit into other places, and then you give them Voodoo, or you give them the Black Box, or You give them, I also have a huge inclination to go down to the sunflower, and because any time you go to a place like that, you're just going to meet, there's a conversation going on in every corner of that place, and they're not all going to welcome you, but a lot of them will have a cheerful word,
Totally, yeah. There's always characters, and it's always good crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people, when they first experience bands, they see them at a certain level, but they don't realize that there's this sort of subculture, this underbelly that everyone comes out of. You know what I mean? These venues and independent promoters, and it's how you sort of climb your way up to doing the O2s and the, you know what I mean, and the bigger venues. It's like they're such a staple, and they're so important. You know what I mean? It's like, to support them is to just go to the gigs, really. You know what I mean?
And the saintly people who sweep up at the end of the night, when the drunks don't want to go home,
or they don't.
Yeah.
Which adds to that scent and that aroma you're talking about earlier.
If you go to the Empire, there's a chance that Joel Harkin will be serving you a pint, or Ashino Scully, and it's just front back. There's a whole microculture there, and we're hanging in, but we just wanted to do it again. There was a beautiful piece you did, Cahir. It was a very emotional piece about, it was essentially saying that as well as your work with New Pagans, you do, you would have earned a crust touring with Frank Turner, and so that's been your life, really gigging and digging in for what, 30 years, 20? No, not 30 years, 20 years. Yeah,
I just 20 years. You a break, 30 years. No, but
what's the decade?
30 years. I was older than minutes of it. No, yes. I mean, I've been on the road since I was 18, essentially. You know what I mean? With my first band, Clear Shot, Jet Plane Landing, Fighting with Wire, Frank Turner, now New Pagans. I mean, I've been out there just doing it, and with Frank, he tours relentlessly. He's also a huge advocate for Independent Venue Week. He supports them non-stop, does shows, live streams, raises money for them. He's flat out. So I was always on the road with him, and that's how I sort of earned most of my money, really, was as road crew for Frank, and part-time sort of step on, play guitar, bass, whatever, occasionally. So, I mean, it's like, to have that just stop, it's been a weird year for me. I haven't been on the road for the first time in a long, long time. So that has had a massive impact on my life, So, and Lindsay's, she's like, when are you going on tour again? I wish you would have, but she just wants rid of me.
I'm not used to it. Not used to it.
Not used to it.
You just kind of carry wardrobes up and downstairs or whatever.
No, I know. This is the marriage tester here, this year. This is like the real test of a relationship,
Well, listen, let's see. I'm trying to remember that. I believe I was at the first gig that you played live. And it was April 2017. Was it the Empire? I'm trying to remember now.
I think the first one we did was in Derry. The second show.
It was the next night or something. So
First Belfast show.
Yes. And not that anyone was waiting to be disproved or whatever, but there's an alchemy in the recorded music, and you're kind of going, well, is that going to come out? Is it going to do that? The lightness, and then that sucker punch that kind of comes out of the side when you're not quite waiting, and the power of the vocals, and I was happily reassured. I remember it was great.
Yeah, that's good.
It was great when you're on the stage, presumably.
Yeah. Well, it was really the first time that I had played live with the band in that context. But actually more nerve-wracking was the practices with Cahir and Connor and Claire at that stage, because Alan hadn't joined yet. I was so nervous. So I think once I got over the practices and performing essentially in front of them, learning the songs, learning how to play together as a band, once it got past that, I was okay, and I felt pretty confident.
Yeah.
which is probably stupid, but it helped. They were all way more nervous than me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Um,
the monster flu anyway. It was a magnificent spectacle, and I think I mentioned this before, but I have a vague memory of you wearing like a Clint Eastwood poncho or
it
something.
wasn't dissimilar to this. This is why I wear this.
It looked like you were ready for a gunfight anyway. So
Always ready for a gunfight.
yeah.
I know. Well, the outfits help you sometimes when you want to get into that zone, and you're just like, right, I'll wear something that makes me feel powerful.
Of course, yeah, that's rock and roll, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, what we're gonna watch next. Again, it's bittersweet. It's poignant. It is a video put together. It's kind of various clips. I think that it came out in March last year, so presumably it was the tour just before everything shut down.
Yeah, just after that tour, we sort of our first and last. Hopefully not our last, but our first tour. Yeah.
Well, my first tour, not yours.
Yes, and before we say it, it looks like the crack was 91 at least. It was good. There was fun things going on, and obviously there was a lot of grunt work because that's what's part of it as well. For Independent Venue Week, we remember. Well, shall we just let it roll then?
Yeah, let it rip.
Yeah.
Desire for this. We don't give up so easily. A blizzard inside your teeth. Damaged. Excuse. Acres of loss are known by us.
That was on a bargain mode. Genuinely had a dream last night. It was on, that wee road off the Lisburn Road to get onto the motorway. What do you call that? I was there.
Right.
And
Tate's Avenue.
Tate's Avenue.
Yeah.
And I got out of my car and went, I'm just going to be happy for the rest of this tour.
Yay! Connor's gonna be happy.
I had a dream last night. I got stopped what I was doing, got out of my car and went, I'm just going to be happy for the rest of it.
Possible.
Charlie had the face of a saint. He knows he's only in love when it rains. The remake holds up to this very day, and his mother agrees to appease him. I'm yours if I wanted to be. You're easy to have when you're down on your knees, crawling about in the dirt for me. I couldn't even try to love you.
Dude, fucking Harry's dance.
Don't worry,
Okay. Well, there you go. That was a kind of a historical document, hopefully to be resumed. We're getting various people saying that the music's a little bit, or that the sound quality. I've turned my volume down. Is that working? I don't know if anybody
If
knows.
you put the mic off when the video comes on, that's what we're doing. That seems to help.
All right. Well,
The
there you
mic
go.
maybe is feedbacking.
We're all learning. We're all learning.
Learning, yeah.
What have we got here? Claire Muskimmon, lol at this tour event. Macaulay, there were some smells in that Bristol venue.
He's not wrong. I mean, that's what when we were talking about the PP toilet venues, that was one of the
that was the Crofters.
Crofters' rights in Bristol. I mean, the guy just hadn't cleaned the floor. I mean, it was.
But it's a very a wonderful venue.
Yes.
Thank you.
Charlene Haggerty, I miss pints in the Sunflower so much. There you go. Yeah. Who would disagree with that? And then Ian Mack, I miss pints full stop. So we're evoking some memories here in a Proustian fashion. So that's good. There were some magnificent sunglasses in that video. Is it competitive with New Pagans to kind of outstyle each other in the Jackie Onassis stakes, or?
Yeah, maybe it is. Claire and I definitely we would obsess with sunglasses. Claire is definitely obsessed. I usually lose a pair and then have to just reinvest in another pair.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Claire has. She could put that in the comments.
Yes. Okay.
And Claire just.
And
fashion style.
It's not really his thing.
Yes, and there's a very ingracious bit in that video, Cara, where you're eating, and then it's very unfair to film anyone when they're in business.
It's because I was eating at McDonald's, and I never eat McDonald's, and that's why I said it's a fucking crime scene, because I was just stuffing McDonald's, and I was a wee bit drunk as well. Yes. And so McDonald's always tastes better when you're drunk, Yes. So
and for a tour dog like yourself, do you have a wise kind of dietary regime on tour, or is it Ginster's pasties all the way? Or
I do. I have a very strict tour diet that I stick to. I eat a lot of chicken and avocado. We actually put it on the rider, and that's what I ate. Mixed sandwiches, you know what I mean? Because we used to do like pizzas, at the end of the night, and that's just not good when you're on a tour bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So chicken and avocado. Anybody that tours knows the crack,
Yes, okay. Al McGreevy's making a facetious comment about Connor's gluten-free McDonald's. So
yeah, Connor's gluten-free anything. Come on, Connor.
When we go to a restaurant, it's always the waiter is always put under a wee bit of pressure because Connor needs gluten-free stuff. So he goes through the list, and we all just sort of go,
Yes.
But then he can do a naughty and have a McDonald's.
Yes.
I know. There's somebody called Shimmy Doherty there to ask the question.
Yeah.
About the rolling ring-tailed rat distortion. What guitar pedals did you use on the new record?
And are you going to answer that question?
You know what? This could be someone I might know who this is. I just can't quite put my finger on it. I'll have a think about it, and then I'll get back to you, Shimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. Well, we had good news. I believe it was last week. I say, like everyone, my time kind of scenario is all mixed up. But the debut New Pagans album, March 19th. It's called The Seed, The Vessel, The Roots, and All, and that's been preceded by the last track of this evening. We're going to be having a watch of the music video, which is Christian Boys. The album then, Lindsay, is it a triumph against the odds to get it out in 2021?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We sort of thought that these songs were done with nearly because it's the last 4 years essentially, and it's partly the EP that we already put out and all of that stuff. But we just feel that these songs sit together as a collection, and we realized that it would be something we regretted later down the line if we didn't put them together. rather than introducing new stuff now, we just, these songs sit together and they fit, and all of the topics are kind of intertwined and linked, and it's a piece of art essentially for us that we just feel needs to be delivered in that format. So then we, I suppose when we got signed recently to Big Scary Monsters, that it just seemed like the right decision to put this out through them and to kind of, like, would you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think we just wanted the last 4 years of the band, the first 4 years of the band, essentially, all those songs just were written together. And we've written a lot of new songs since that. And we thought, right, instead of adding new songs to those songs, blah, 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 we just thought we'd put that out as an album, and we would just write an entirely new album, which we were kind of more than halfway through doing that, you know what I mean? So we're excited to play, and hopefully next year, same time, we'll put out a number 2. So
okay. I'm gonna read out the track listing for the upcoming album, because everyone's a banger. It's Darker, Bloody Soil, Charlie Has the Face of a Saint, If I Could Die, Lily Yates, Admire, Harbour, Yellow Room, Odes to Non-Natural Beauty, and Christian Boys. There's all killer, no filler, as they say in the business. So that'll be a lovely thing to kind of arrive and officially mark the beginning of spring. So that's where we're at with that. We're going to have a watch of another video. I'm going to slide my volume down this time. That's a learning thing for me. I saw something from Charlotte Dryden here. Does Connor not organically grow, prepare, and pack all his own food and bring it with him on tour?
Nobody should.
Nobody should.
I think that might be facetious from the Boston Music Centre. There's dairy humour going on there somewhere, barely concealed. But somebody mentioned a battered haggis there as well. I think we have to get away from grotesque food anecdotes. So we're going to watch a video. It was filmed at the Palm House. When was that done then? Was that the previous year then, or?
Yeah, we did it last year, end of 2019. We thought it would be nice to sort of try out just performing live. I mean, the lockdown thing and all, just man, you know, it's like we've seen into the future or something. You know what I mean? We were like, let's record some of our songs, and I think Yellow Room was a new track at that point. So we did like It's Darker, Charlie, and Yellow Room. Yeah. But it was an experiment more than anything.
Yeah, and to be able to play in the Palm House, that's fun, isn't it?
It was great because they have that fantastic lighting thing with the laser. It looks like an 80s discotheque. So
they were actually great because I don't think they even charged us for that or anything, you know. So they were just letting a local band essentially come in and use the venue, and it was really good of them. So such a good space as well.
It's fantastic,
And one of your themes, Lindsay, is this whole idea of untold stories and people who are marginalised. And well, when I say people, I mostly mean females. You know, that's a huge streak of your creativity and history being kind of changed in turn. But It's Darker. We'll pick up on the theme in a moment. It's Darker is sort of connected to that, and it's about, I think you were at a party and somebody kind of confronted you and refused to kind of give you validity for your conversation or for your
it wasn't just one incident, it was a few incidents, I suppose, that accumulated into the lyrics of the song. But it was just that annoyance or how it made me feel very insignificant, and I had to question myself, I suppose, why can I not join a debate and talk and have opinions, and why are my opinions not as important as someone else's? So it was just me kind of trying to work that out. And of course, the conclusion that I made was that sometimes people don't listen to others, and we all have that responsibility to listen to what other people are saying, and we don't always have to agree, but we should listen, and we should never send it to, in my opinion, to a place where it's aggressive or threatening. And so that's kind of what the song's about for me anyway.
Okay, well, that's your takeaway, and it resulted in a magnificent song. So when you're ready, Dee isn't kind of appearing for the sake of it. I think it's some technical thing that has to bring Dee's face into the screen.
He's just such a dream. He's such a dreamboat that he just floats into this.
And it's not that we resent it. So when you're ready, Dee, let's see your face and then let's watch the video.
The demand for perfection is disturbing. Once the signs point us out, the crowd is turning. It's going to catch you. It's going to crush you. It's nothing new. Left for us to say. Time will tell if it matters anyway. Gonna find you. Gonna find you out. I said, slave and master slaughtered by flies. Gonna find you. It's over my head. We're keeping a bed. And I got the soul inside me. And everyone's looking. I'm upset. It's dark. It's darker. And everyone's looking at me. And I'm upset. Upset. Let's refer to the others that are listening. Sufficient numbers, they are young. Are you with me? Gonna find you. Gonna push you. It's nothing new. Left for us to say. Time will tell. It matters anyway. Gonna find you. Gonna find you out. And I cried. Cold and red, smoke in their eyes. Gonna find you. It's over my head. We're keeping a bed. And I got the soul inside me. And everyone's looking. I'm upset. It's dark, it's darker. And everyone's looking at me. And I'm upset. Upset. Strive for victory. So lovely things can grow. Strive for victory. So lovely things can grow. It's all in my head. We're keeping a bed. And I got the soul inside me. And everyone's looking. I'm upset. It's dark, it's darker. And everyone's looking at me. And I'm upset. Upset.
Microphone going up now. So there you go. It's Darker live at the Palm House, and New Pagans absolutely giving it everything. I neglected to ask a second ago, Lindsay, the seed, the vessel, the roots, and all. Is that a botanical reference, or is that something? Is that a reproductive reference, or?
It was one of the first songs that we wrote. It's in I Could Die. So we thought about the album, we came up with lots of names, but it was that line that we just all kind of agreed on. And I think it does it's about, the start of something, and that's what this album feels like for us,
Okay.
the start of something.
In my head, I was thinking of those Robert Mapplethorpe. He took photographs of flowers, but they just look really kind of dirty. You know, he made them look, well, the plants are sexual creatures, of course, but you know, it just, there's something comes out of the ground sometimes that's very you know, very visceral, very whatever. So that's my tuppence worth there. But you know, every like I say, every song on there is an education. I think at this point I should do some product placement. Dig With It magazine, Hannah Peel on the cover. And if we open it up inside, it is a piece written by Lindsay from New Pagans. It's called Collagen, Mother and Artist. You mentioned PJ Harvey, Down by the Water. What a song. You mentioned Kim Gordon. You mentioned Louis the Bourgeois. And was that a sort of a theme or an idea that you really wanted to get out and get a, you know, the invitation went for Dig With It for you to contribute, but did you have to think hard and long about what to write about, or?
No, I think for me, it just, when you invited me to write something, it was the first thing that came to my mind, and then obviously we chatted about it and it just made sense. Because I think sometimes females or people actually feel that when they have kids, that things have to stop, or that it puts like pressure on your creative businesses or creative outlets, and it doesn't have to. And I suppose I just wanted to say that, yes, it is harder, but it doesn't have to be the end of you, whatever that is, you know, whatever you enjoy doing or whatever you want to be or who you are, it doesn't have to stop when you create this new life. And that goes across the board for anyone, any person that's had a kid. You know, it was just a little message, I guess, to parents to say, or guardians, that, you know, you can still be yourself and try and find time to do the things that you enjoy.
Yes.
What it was. You didn't even read it, did you?
I did read it.
I hope you did.
What did it say?
You did. You actually sent it to me to read.
I did.
Before
actually,
you sent it in. So.
I did.
Yes.
You
Well,
proofread it, so that's not a good.
It's not a good thing.
well,
Really
that's
good.
it. And Ian Mack says, "Great article, great mag." So there you go. That we're all happy.
It's a beautiful magazine.
We do what we can. We've got another track coming up now. Well, it's a video. We've got two videos to finish with, and the first one is called Yellow Room, and there is an author called Charlotte Perkins Gilman who's involved in this. It's a Gothic novel, apparently. You can tell us a little bit more. That's not necessarily what the song's exactly about, but Yellow Wallpaper was a concept, isn't that right?
Yeah, yellow wallpaper. Yeah, it's described as a Gothic horror story, I suppose, but it's also seen as one of the first pieces of American, one of the earliest pieces of American feminist literature, and it's because of the topic really is about a woman after she's given birth and how she's treated by her husband, essentially, and she's kind of locked in this room. And there's bars on the window and there's this yellow wallpaper, and it's how she kind of, I suppose it's a form of psychosis or something, you know, she's going through this trauma, and the song is really about capturing those moments and those days after you've had a child. And I wrote the lyrics for that just after I'd had my first child, Maisie. And not that I was suffering from anything like postnatal depression, but even just me dealing with all this new stuff, and your body's changed, and it's a lot to take on. So I thought about the women and the people that have, you know, had it really difficult, where their hormones and stuff have affected how they felt. And it's just like, yeah, the song's really about capturing that feeling of you're a bit kind of lost, but you're also amazing because you've just given birth. So
yes,
that really for me anyway.
And there, you know, obviously there's an alchemy with bands, so everybody contributes. I think a lot of the chords and guitar stuff it comes from you, Cara, is that right? Or and Lindsay puts words around them, or give us a little bit of a thought about the songwriting process.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, sort of the ideas can start anywhere. They could start with me. They could start with Claire, Alan, Connor, whatever. Lindsay, you know, might have a great idea, concept, and then we kind of have a hard drive full of riffs and ideas that I throw in there, you know what I mean, like a Dropbox, and we just kind of go through, and every now and then we pull something out, and I think Yellow Room, we'd had it for quite some time. Lindsay had this great concept, this great idea for the song, and it came together really quickly once the band started playing it. It's kind of like two songs stuck together, you know. So there's like two parts, you know. So there's like a verse, a chorus, and then this whole other song is just sort of stuck on the end of it.
Yeah.
So I suppose I'm the band producer as well, you know what I mean, and I love sort of, you know, bands that do that, like Fleetwood Mac, and you know, who would you be in one song 1 minute, and then the next minute you'd just be transported to this other place, and so that was really appealing to me when especially for this song, you know what I mean. It was like, let's go somewhere else with this, you know. So yeah, and the writing process in the band is like, once we take it into the room, it's like not a free for all, but everyone has sort of listened to it already. We kind of do it the other way around. So we would demo it, very high quality demo, and we'd all listen to it, and then we go into the room and we kind of deconstruct it, you know. So yeah.
I find it really hard to. I can't go into the practice room and just start singing over the top of their music. I have to take the music away and be on my own in a very dark room. The whole ritual for me, candles are lit.
Yeah.
He thinks it's ridiculous, but that's how I feel safe and creative, and I'm alone. And because I think vocally you can't just go, well, some people can, and that's amazing, but I don't have that ability. I suppose this is how I kind of tap into the melodies that I want to sing.
No, it's good because Lindsay will sort of disappear. And sort of, I'll be like, you know, where's the melody? You know, I'm eager to kind of move forward really fast, but Lindsay is the person that goes, no, we're gonna wait, and I'm just gonna take this away and do my thing with it, which is great. It's been working fantastic, you know what I mean? But I'm just like that. We want more. Let's go straight ahead. So us sort of pulling against each other, pushing and pulling is sort of in between there is where it works, you know.
Well, I like the whole idea of that ritualized thing, and you know, there are some artists, you know, they like, even David Bowie or something that has to summon it from the mystery. You have to let it out, you know, or let it through, you know. Would you endorse that process, or is it as strange as that, or not?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just the way, like in art, and because I come from an art background, you would call it design thinking, like how you can think so you can help yourself to design, or how you think or place yourself in an environment where you feel safe and creative. So yeah, it is ritualistic, but it's also just practical because you just feel less vulnerable and there's nobody there and you can make mistakes and it can be just free to experiment. And some people can do that in a room with other people, and some people can't. I think it's fairly common, isn't it, that people can't?
Yeah.
I think we watched a documentary about, who was it?
Lots of singers and lyricists just like to do their own thing, and they have a ritual. It's very common.
R.E.M. It was a documentary, and he said exactly the same thing, and I turned around to Catherine and went, "See,"
and I went, "Damn you to hell, Steve."
And I was like, "You write a song like that? That'd be amazing."
Okay, well, we've talked it up well. I think it's time to watch that video now. So again, when you're ready, Dee, we'll have a look at Yellow Room.
I've been in this room for days, trapped in a yellow haze. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Straight at boarded in, feeding on the human skin. It's getting worse. It's gently slowly move away. Silence. You can't put me back, and I just won't leave. Frightened, terror, flourishing. Make me laugh, don't let me sleep. It's not so bad. It's not too bad. Creeping in the morning light, she looked in his blackened eyes. The state of me and the state ahead. You can't put me back. Oh, worse in the mornings. Be careful. You can't put me back. Just won't go. So gently, slowly move away. Silence. You can't put me back, and I just won't leave. You say you didn't notice that nothing seems right. You say you didn't pull me out of life. Try to make me forget. You say that I lied. You say you didn't pull me out of life. You say you didn't pull me out. You say you didn't pull me out of life. You say you didn't pull me out. And he can take it all, and he can have his life. He can cut me up, and he can set my thought. Never happened, so never happened now, never happened.
Sent that was again. We're sending our best to Voodoo there because it was looking at its best. It was very. I was watching that thing, and I'm so Belfast centric. I was talking about all the great Belfast venues, but Lindsay and Cara, around Northern Ireland and beyond. Then, what are the venues that you cherish and miss most of all? And what about Derry? What where would you rate there?
Well, the sort of my sort of spiritual home up in Derry would have been like Sandino's and the Nerve Centre. The Nerve Centre are a great venue upstairs, and Sandino's. You've got the back bar vibe, and then you've got that big bar, the club vibe in the back, and even in Belfast. Well, also Glasgowbury Festival. I mean, was. It was the epicenter, for a long time.
Cellar Bar was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the Cellar as well. Fantastic. I think that's where I first met you. Actually, it was in the Cellar Bar a long time.
Stuart, you were there the first night we ever met.
Yeah, that's right.
Really? What was that?
Yes, I was there with my other boyfriend.
Oh, dirty Lindsay.
Karen and I met that night.
Dirty
But you
Lindsay.
represented it.
Yeah, was that your shot?
It was
No,
Fighting with
it's
Wire
not.
had just started, and you invited us down to do a session in the Cellar, and that's the first time Lindsay and I ever sort of laid eyes.
We didn't talk to each other that night, but we
Yeah.
But
That
that,
is really bizarre. That's bizarre because I just found some photographs on an old 35mm. I just scanned them the other night, so I'll have to stick them in the
class.
photo.
Definitely.
But
And
yes,
then as you go down into sort of Belfast, I mean, for me, Auntie Annies was our.
yeah,
I mean, we started with Fighting with Wire and Jet Plane. We played Auntie Annies so much, and Clear Shot. It was such a. I think Rocky used to do sound on there, and if you think about all the people, all the bands that played in there, and all the heads that have gone through it, was such a spot. Like we used to do Christmas tunes in there. It was the crowd was nice.
I remember seeing people like Cat Power there, and you just think that's just
Yeah, I saw Mike Watt there, and it's just amazing venue. Loved it. Thing.
I think Chelsea Wolfe there. Actually, it was amazing.
and the Czars which was what do you call him now? Grant. I'm sorry, I've got complete memory dropout here, but yeah, people who would go on to do epic things, and they're playing for 30, 40 people. So
and recently, like Ulster Sports Club has been amazing.
And the Black Box, and and you know what I mean. There's so many good venues. And Menagerie was great too. It was like it's just so many good venues in Belfast, you know.
Yeah, and good to watch the corn store developing as well. You know, it's another labour of love that's coming through. So we salute you all, and we aim to be there soon enough. So John Grant, that was the name I was trying to think. John Grant.
Yes.
Played with the Czars in Auntie Annies, and there was two glipes talking at the front the whole way through, and the voice of an angel. And halfway into the gig, he went, "I'm sorry, I'm going home. I've had enough," you know. And imagine if you could go back in time now, and you'd go, "That's John Grant, and you're talking all the way through the gig." So,
it wasn't Goat Boy by any chance, was it? No.
Well, I don't know. But anyway, so that's it. We're getting close to the end now. It's been lovely thing to do. Can you plan this year? Can you strategize beyond putting things out, or do you literally just have to make provisional thoughts and hope someone will stick, or what?
I think we do. I mean, we have an amazing manager, Charlene, and now we have a great team at Big Scary Monsters as well working with us, and we're kind of looking at we are looking ahead towards next year and the live things opening up. All we can do is just plan for it and hope that it happens, you know. But until then, we just have to keep our heads down and just we've discovered we need to keep practicing anyway, because just having even a few months off, you spend so much of your time in practice then just, you know, getting back to a certain point. So we just need to keep that up. And we've got a single coming out in March, hopefully, and we've obviously got the debut album, and I mean, we've a lot on already this year, which is really good. So it's feeling exciting and quite full. And the only thing missing is the live stuff. So
yeah, I think we're going to try and sort of work out some live stream stuff if PRS don't charge us too much. It's nice today. They need to reevaluate their policy, I think. But I'm sure a lot of musicians would agree with me. But we're just looking to see what we can do. I mean, our hands are tied at the minute, and we've got to be safe. And so we'll see what happens.
We've been bubbling together as much as we can. So. As a band, we've kind of had to do that to keep the business running, like many other people, you know.
Well, March 19th is a significant moment then, because the record is out, and we'll be there. As the Echo and the Bunnymen used to say, songs to learn and sing. So you've got your job of work as friends of the band to commit those songs to memory if you haven't already, and every song's got a backstory, and even if you a cursory look around will tell you who Lily Yates was, or the Donegal Industrial Fund, and all of these things that are part and parcel of the new Pagan story. It brings us to the end now. This is a lyric video. It's Christian boys, and there's a whole other thing going on here as well. And it is about, I guess, religious hypocrisy. It's about people expecting purity from their future wives, but not necessarily practicing it themselves. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, this last week, a blogger wrote that it was about me having an affair. I can reassure you, Mother, it wasn't about that. It's just a lot of stories. Actually, I grew up in a Christian community, and it's stories that I heard throughout my childhood. But then as I became an adult, started hanging out with people outside of that community, I realized that it was happening outside the community too. And it's not just aimed at actual Christians, it's aimed at any community that doesn't protect the most vulnerable people within it. I think we all have a responsibility to those people. And it's really a song. It's quite an angry song, but I think it's hopeful as well, you know, because communities are amazing, but we have to be accountable within them, and we shouldn't be, you know, protecting the name of something or the just cause for just the sake of it. You know, we should be protecting the most vulnerable people in anywhere that we meet them. And I think that's really what the core of the song's about for me anyway. Do you want to add anything? Actually, don't add anything.
Are you sure you want me to
No.
add? Right, okay.
And it's like, it reminds me of that.
Best that I don't comment on this, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that old story, Nathaniel Hawthorne, the Scarlet Letter, you know, where the woman has to put the S or whatever it is so that she's a sinner, you know, and
Yes.
and then possibly those same people that would say that, you know, Adam was doing fine in the Garden of Eden until Eve, you know, sent him down the wrong road, you know, so that tradition of chauvinism and putting people down is unfortunately part of the baggage that all of us grew up with, and to me it sounds like this song, Christian Boys, you're exercising a lot of ghosts. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you're probably right. It is pretty personal, but not in the I didn't have the affair thing, but you know, it is personal to me because of my background. Yeah, I just hate it. I just hate seeing things that are to me wrong. And when I heard the stories from these women and how they were treated, these stories were from women. I'm sure there's other people, but I just felt really angry, and this song kind of just came out of that. And as soon as I wrote we wrote the outro, I was like, "Is this too much? You know, can we say this?" But
And you did.
yeah, we did.
I was supportive. I was like,
but
no,
actually,
yes,
well, that's the thing
yeah.
about a song. It's not.
Right.
I'm not saying that this is the truth. I'm just saying this is my opinion on something, you know, and so that's important as well. It's not like we want to preach to anybody. We just want to create these things, and people can take them and leave them as they will. But also, someone else might interpret it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
But this week I got a lot of feedback, actually, surprisingly, from people who had experienced something this song kind of brought out, that memory. I can't obviously go into the details, but I felt reassured that we'd done the right thing putting it out, because people have responded really positively. And while I think that it will offend some people, I think that it's there for those people that have been victimized. So yeah, I think it was a good decision after all.
We don't have the protests yet. We don't have the placards outside the gigs. I'm kind of fingers crossed for that one. Know what I mean? We don't have big Arlene down at the door.
I don't think they're listening.
Okay, we're going to watch in a second. I'm just reading through some of the comments here. And yes, Charlene Haggerty says, yes, it was John Grant that sang with the Czars. It was indeed. And Scissor Sisters played Auntie Annies the week they went to UK number.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go. That's, you know, we're grieving. We're grieving and we're smiling at the same time, because there's stuff that we have to reconnect with. Thank you very much, New Pagans, Lindsay and Cara. That's been great. I think the rest of them I think most of the others are out there on the comments section. So it's been a collaborative effort. Thank you very much to Dee and to the OEM Music Centre, as ever, for getting the thread together. That is Getting to Know. Hopefully there'll be more later in the year. Independent Venue Week, we salute you. And you know, we Steve Lamack is doing his bit everywhere, and Jordan Adetunji, who is the ambassador for Northern Ireland, as I understand it, as well. And there's a video of Jordan going through the American Bar and various other venues to remember what is there still as a beautiful legacy, and hopefully will remain. So it remains for us to put up Christian Boys, the lyric video. Thank you very much, and looking forward to March the 19th.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure.
Right.
the spirit of Baroka me and more. I need more of this, I know, until I drain this away. It's my favorite void without you. My mind's made, I'm sitting like a queen again. Quiet landscapes, rendering the truth. Visions made, devouring sun awakening. Yes, it's shame, written in its roots. Violently shapes the quick and thoughts that taunted me. The siren's guide, the spirit of Baroka me and more. I need more of this, I know, until I drain this away. It's my favorite void without her. My mind's made, I'm sitting like a queen again. Quiet landscapes, rendering the truth. Visions made, devouring sun awakening. Yes, it's shame, written in its roots. Christian boys are the worst I know. Christian boys are the worst I know of. Christian boys are the worst I know. Christian girls should take it slow. Christian boys are the worst I know. Christian boys are the worst I know of. Christian boys are the worst I know. Christian girls should take it slow. 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 Joy builds after all. Rejoice in evermore. Joy builds your bodies when we fall. Rejoice in
Thank you very much then to Cahir and Lindsay, and indirectly then to Claire and Connor and Alan collectively making that magnificent noise. And really looking forward to that album in March. And thanks to Oh Yeah and all the other venues that are doing their work. Independent Venue Week, check them out, be their friend, because they're going to be campaigning for all of us for the rest of this year and for the foreseeable. And it goes out saying, support your local venue. Thank you very much, everyone, and good night.
Thank you. Bye.